It is round 2 with duck, which is becoming my favorite protein as of late. It's versatile, it's delicious, and we get to blendify a liver. Welcome back to Bourdain.
Everybody should know how to use a knife.
Use everything, waste nothing.
Let's start at the beginning. It ain't that hard, okay?
We're learning how to cook with Anthony Bourdain's cookbook. My name is Mitch May, by the way. Let's get into it. We're making Canard Sauvage. I don't know how to say that exactly. We're going to take an entire duck. We are going to make a lovely layered sauce, as the French are just amazing at doing. It is the first time I am searing duck breasts to hopefully get a nice crispy skin. So I have Bourdain's book linked down below in the description as usual. If you'd like, check it out, give it a try, or just follow along with me. We're gonna get started. We have a lot of stuff to cover that I did yesterday. Let's jump right into it.
So last night we get the white part of 2 to 3 leeks and thinly slice them. 3 shallots thinly sliced as well. And we make a bouquet garni out of the green parts of the leek. Traditionally a few sprigs of thyme, bay leaf, and parsley. I added some rosemary in there because why not? We roll that up into a cute little cigar or flavor baton and it is good to go. Now here's where it gets interesting with the duck. I trim off some excess fat and now we break it down. I figure this is similar to a chicken. I let the weight of the bird kind of guide my knife, and as I find the joint, I cut through the cartilage and then run my knife along the rib cage of the bird. Definitely not as easy as a chicken. For whatever reason, I just found the shape of the duck to be tricky to maneuver around, but I'm assuming with time and after a few ducks, I'll be able to blow right through this. That sounded kind of weird. The other leg was definitely trickier to get out. Not beautiful, but we did it. And then we go after the wings, which, not gonna lie, these came off just like butter. I don't know why. I got lucky with the first 2 to 3 cuts and the wing just ripped right off the joint. I've said it a few times now, but allowing the weight of the bird to do most of the work and the knife is the biggest key I found for helping me with butchering onto the breasts. This was a little tricky. I guess I had to remove the tail. I found it easier to go after the breasts once I just kind of cracked this thing off with the elegance of a rhino. I found it was easier to slice the breasts. Slicing as close as I can to the rib cage, I'm just guiding the knife here. A boning knife would be ideal, I'm realizing, but for now, this giant chef knife will have to do. And now the fun and the semi-scary part comes. We chop up what's left of this to make a stock, so the bones have to be about 1 inch by 2 inches. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I'm just chopping away to try to get this into little bite-sized chunks so we can sear up the bones for our stock. It looks like a murder scene, but we get it done eventually. I then clean up the breasts a little bit and reserve that fat for what will be amazing rendered fat for potatoes or anything else you're trying to fry. We then remove the wingtips because that's going to go in the stock as well. Here we have a duck breast I bought individually. I wanted something that would make a really nice thumbnail, and also I wanted something that was butchered properly. So I score the skin and that will help render the fat. For a little experiment, I tear off the skin of one of the legs because we are going to be braising these legs, and I'm curious what will happen. Season with salt and pepper, and it goes on a rack to hopefully air dry and get some moisture out. Time to make the stock. Now Bourdain calls for olive oil to brown the bones in. I figure we brown the bones in duck fat. Why not add some water, because I heard that helps bring out more of the fat, and we get about 2 tablespoons of rendered duck fat. I strain that into our pot and then we go ahead with the bones. Medium-high heat, the bones, the wingtips, all the fun parts go in this pot and we brown. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes. After we develop amazing color here, we remove the bones and add the leeks and shallots to get that brown stuff off of the pan. I noticed it wasn't coming off, so I added a little bit of our Calvados, which is going to go in anyway. Then we add 2 tablespoons to reduce until almost all the liquid is gone. After reducing, I add about 3 cups of chicken stock and a little secret demi-glace, and then I top it off with even more water because I plan on cooking this for a while. The bouquet garni goes in and our browned bones go in as well, and we let that thing simmer low and slow overnight, so it's about 10 hours. In the morning, this is what we're left with. The entire house smells like Thanksgiving. The big parts come out and we strain through cheesecloth. I was pretty happy with the stock we got. There's a body to it, not extreme, but it's got some depth and the flavor was really nice as well as I burn myself. Now these bones that have been simmering, I think had some great meat on them. They were freaking good. They tasted amazing and we're using all of this animal, which I kind of feel good about. The strained stock I'll pop in the fridge, the bones I seasoned with salt and pepper to gnaw on, and back to the present.
The prep is knocked out for the most part. I brought the duck out. This has been sitting at room temperature for about an hour, and we are going to have to sear this off and get it in a sexy braising liquid, which is our stock, which is in the Frigidator. As you can see, the fat has risen to the top, so I'm gonna give that scoopage, try to get all that stuff. I'm not too concerned if I don't get all of it. And you know what? I am concerned. This is a freaking French dish. No time for f***ing around. So I'm actually gonna give this a quick little strain. Put this over there. We're gonna strain some of this liquid through there. Let's go. You know, just pour it, just pour it. I'm spilling it, that's okay. Now we have some lovely, 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 lovely. We're gonna sear this duck off. So something I'm gonna do different than what Bourdain recommends is I'm actually going to hit these in the pan cold to hopefully render out some fat. Bring that up over like medium heat and see what we get. Little comment of the week, Adrian Parker. Thank you for finding me for one, and two, it is never too late when you find me. I'm not going anywhere, at least I don't think so. Sometimes it feels like something catastrophic is just on the cusp of like my existence. You know what? That's just probably being mid-20s and living in a chaotic time. But I'm just glad you found me. Back to the rendering duck stuff. I really don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm gonna add just a little butter as Bourdain recommends. And I'm actually going to add ghee. I feel like this is almost like essential to have on hand now. And I do have this guy, which I'm not gonna add to the pan quite yet because we're trying to get that fat rendered out. While we're getting a nice browning there, I need you to help me out. I am curious when we go to braise meats. Should we keep the skin on there or should we braise without the skin? I figure if we braise with skin, it can kind of just lend a rubbery, weird texture. But without skin, you won't have rubber, but you'll have less flavor. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. There are a lot of people watching now that know much more than me, especially Kevin, dude. Kevin, you're an almanac. There's more people like you, but man. Yeah, the pan is overcrowded. It sucks. What are you gonna do? Gonna let this vibe out for like another 3-4 minutes. You ever just eat hummus with a spoon? Am I alone there? Could these have been browner? 3000%, but starting to get a little black. So we're gonna move on, add our shallots. And the recipe does call for duck gizzards. However, I don't have them. I only have liver, so in we go. Whew, lovely flavors developing. Actually gonna add a little stock just so we don't burn here. It is interesting, you kind of start developing a feel, you know, some things burn and you're like, okay, how can we not allow this to continue to burn? Take it off the heat, add a little liquid, just little things that kind of accumulate as you're going through recipes, as you're messing up. Certainly when I'm messing up many times, but you learn from them. Here, we'll add the flour, cook for 2 minutes, then stir in the cider vinegar. Reduce over high heat until the vinegar nearly evaporates. Add the reserved duck stock and try to scrape up all that goodness. Turn the legs to the pot. Simmer for 1 hour or until the legs are very tender. Let's liquefy some livers. There we are. It's a chicken liver. I don't have duck, so plop that in there. Let's just blend it up. Let's blend it up. I got a hunch there's not enough liquid for it to do its thing in there, but here we go. That actually worked. Son of a beach. In a Mickey Mouse cup in honor of Walt Disney. Oh yeah. Yep. And we're back. In that time I tried learning Italian, but I ended up doing the dishes, killing 3 flies, and then doing the wash. So I cooked this for about 1.5 hours. It's getting tender. It is very tender. So let's go into cooking these breasts. I have them, where the f are they? Here they are, here they are. They've been tempering for about 1 hour. So a note, Bourdain has us put butter in the pan and then sear these duck breasts. However, I'm going to try a method I saw on Google's, taking a cold pan, putting the duck breast down, skin side down for about 5-6 minutes. So we're gonna try that out. Plenty of time to go on them, but as you can see, we're getting some nice renderation. Yep, just made that word up. As for the braising liquid, I think they're actually getting too tender. We're gonna pop these out and reduce that liquid. While these, I'm gonna tent with aluminum foil. Little improv you might get a kick out of. Breast is getting beautiful color, but we're not getting rendering there. So I'm gonna just kind of lean it up, post it up there, and hopefully get more of that fat out. It's that magical witching hour. Think about subscribing, joining my journey, cooking along here, and you know, tell someone about what we're doing here. Let's finish this and plate this. Remove the breast from the pan and set aside. Stir the remaining 2 tablespoons of Calvados into the pan, reduce by half, then strain this in with the duck braising liquid. Bring the braising liquid to a boil, check the seasoning, and whisk in 1 tablespoon of butter. Remove from the heat and whisk in the liquefied liver.
As you can see, I added the liver on heat, so the liquid liver turned into solid liver and I had to restrain it here. Another tablespoon of butter and some Wonder flour to thicken up the sauce.
Could it use a little color? I think so. A little chopped parsley on top. Quite happy with the way I cooked that. I have a fear, admittedly, of undercooking things. That's ridiculous. That tastes very good. I would eat that every day of the week if I had more. And of course, AB wanted us to present everything together. I just couldn't get a quality thumbnail. We have our second rendition here. It is just freaking tender, man. There is like actually a hint of apple from that Calvados or Calvados. By the way, new favorite freaking beverage. E&J, I'm coming for you. The sponsorship will happen. If I were to do this again, I do have a bunch of questions raising, should we even keep the skin on the animal? Time to clean up. Thank you for spending your time with me. This was back to Bourdain.
Stay organized and clean up after yourself. You do the best you can.